Hello, first-time coders. The objective of today's lab is to understand loops, for loops to be precise. So whenever you want to do something more than once in programming, chances are you would need a loop to do it. There are two types of loops in Python: the for loop and the while loop. The for loop is used whenever you know the amount of times you want to repeat the task, or you know the size of the data that you want to perform that single task upon. Let's give an example. So you want to get some fuel. At the fuel station, you were asked, how much fuel do you want? And because you know the quantity of fuel you consumed, you said 20 liters. This information allows the pump attendant to know for how many liters to pour in the tank. So let's try our hands on an actual example. So let's say for I in range. So the keyword range gives us values from the starting value to a stopping value, let's say 6. So 6 will not be included in the range, and we can say we can put the column just like we do in the if statements, and then we can just go inside the for loop, leave a space again like the if statement, and we can print I, for example. Now if we run this code, we'll see that for each of the values in the range, we will print a value of I. So this is how the Python code works. When Python enters into the for loop, it takes the first range 1 and it puts it in I. Then it enters into the loop. When it comes back to the loop, it compares with the stop value. If it's not equal to the stop value, then it goes back into the loop again, increasing the value by 1 in this case. Finally, when the value is equal to the range, it will not go back into the loop, rather it goes out and continue with the other parts of the code. There are many things you can do with a for loop. For example, we can print while jumping some numbers. So let's say we can say for I in range, I want to count from 1 to 10, but I want to increase the step by 2. So if you run this, if we try to print this and run, you can see we are jumping by 2. We can also do it backwards, right? We can say for I in range 10 to 0 minus 2. And when we do this, we can just print I. So if we run this, you can see we are going backwards. We can process the value of I. For example, we can say for I in range, and we can say, let's say from 1 to 6, and we are trying to multiply the values. So we can say J equals to I times 2, print J. So if we run this, what do we get? We multiply the values by 2. So you can have a set of numbers that you want to take one after the other and solve. So we can have something like for I in, and we can have the set of numbers 1, 4, 3, 8, and we can say, okay, if the number is odd, let's print that number. So we can say if I is odd, because if the number is odd, then the remainder will not be 0. So we can check this, and then we can print I. So if you run this, you can see it will take each value here. So let's do this one more time. We can just print the values of I and see what do we get. You can see we can print each of the values in the set and in the list, sorry. And then here what we did is when the value comes in, we try to process the value and see if we can get the input, and then we print the result. You can also do this with strings. So for example, we can say for I in range, for I in and then when you print the values, you can see that you get all the values. We can print everything horizontally by just adding the keyword end, which tells the computer when you print at the end, do not go to the next line, use whatever I give you instead. So for example, if you do this, at the end of each print, it will add that string. So for this, we just want nothing to be added, so we can have this. So you can try as many ideas as you can with for loops. We will talk about while loops next time. Thank you for watching and see you next time.